7 learnings after interviewing 12 entrepreneurs in season 2. Or rather, I should say, the 7 traits of forward thinking businesses. These are the qualities I have seen time and again in every conversation this season. Traits that separate thriving businesses from those that struggle. These traits are a chain reaction. Each one builds on the other, forming a roadmap for building businesses that thrive in uncertainty and grow with intention. So let's begin, starting with the very foundation: organizational values. If I had to sum up this entire season in one phrase, it would be this: clarity of values drives clarity in decisions. Every single guest we've had, whether it was Nick Glover talking about hiring or Camelia Salimi sharing about her pricing strategy, comes back to this one truth. Values aren't just feel-good words printed on an office poster. They are invisible threads that hold everything together. They guide you on how to hire, how to handle crisis, and even how to communicate with your customers. Nick Glover shared a fascinating insight about hiring. He doesn't look for someone who can do the job. He looks for someone who fits the job. And then there's Camelia, founder of Zoga. Every decision she makes, whether it's adjusting prices or delivering services, is rooted in her commitment to quality and creating a positive experience for her customers. That's how she ensures her values shines through in everything she does. Because when values align, everything else flows naturally. Skills can be trained, but values can't. Here's the thing about values. They are internal markers for your team and also external signposts for your customers. When customers feel like your business stands for something meaningful, they don't just buy your product, they buy into your mission. And when you know what you stand for, your next steps become clearer. One of those steps is growth for your business, for you, and your team. That brings us to the second trait of forward-thinking businesses: continuous learning and development. Do you know what separates businesses that plateau from those that soar? A hunger for growth, both financial and intellectual growth. One thing became crystal clear this season: the best leaders are always learning. Whether it's attending workshops, reading books, or seeking mentorships, they treat learning as an investment and not as an expense. Take Kelly Lundberg, for example, who mentions learning from others and how personal coaching has been the biggest investment she's made in her life. She explains that we don't have all the answers we need, and it's important to work with experts. Sure, you can get there on your own, but when you work with experts, you reach your goals quickly. Remember that learning isn't just about you as a leader, it's also about developing your team. When you invest in your team's growth, you are improving their skills, you're building their confidence and their loyalty. A team that feels valued will show up with energy, creativity, and a sense of ownership. Imagine this: 2 businesses face the same crisis. In one, the team is well-trained, adaptable, and trusts their leadership. On the other hand, the teams that feels underprepared and unsupported. Which business do you think handles the storm better? Developing your team isn't a nice to have. It's your insurance policy. And when you and your team are constantly growing, you will be ready to face the challenges head on. Sometimes those challenges come in the form of competition. The third trait of forward-thinking businesses is embracing competition. Competition is a word that makes some entrepreneurs sweat and others smile. Competition, to be honest, is not your enemy. It's your coach. When Sam from Cycle Hub talked about how competition in his industry pushed him to innovate, it was clear he didn't see competitors as threats. He saw them as benchmark. They forced him to think sharper, move faster, and serve his customers better. And then there was Anthony Gus, who shared how understanding his competitors' strengths and weaknesses helped him sharpen his value proposition. He didn't imitate them. He differentiated himself. Here's the truth. Competition keeps us honest. It forces us to ask, why should customers choose me? And if your answer isn't compelling, you've got work to do. But competition isn't about outperforming others. It's also about outperforming yourself. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Did you serve your customers better this quarter than you did last quarter? This mindset, the one that embraces competition as a growth engine, often leads to the next big step: smart risk-taking. Risk is like that moment at the edge of a diving board. You're just staring down at the water, heart pounding, questioning every decision that led you there. And yet, some of the best business stories come from that one jump. But here's the thing. Successful entrepreneurs aren't reckless. They don't close their eyes and leap into the void. They calculate, prepare, and then they jump. Take Varsha Joshi's story, for example. At 16, her family business collapsed, forcing them to start from scratch. With borrowed money, they opened a small shop, and for 11 years, Varsha worked alongside her mother to rebuild while earning her degree. At 26, she made a bold decision to leave it all behind and start over in Dubai. Varsha didn't avoid risks. She faced them head on. She could have stopped and said, "This is too much." Instead, she said yes, turning those risks into stepping stones for her remarkable journey. Risk in business could mean launching a new product that no one is asking for yet. It might mean expanding into an untested market or pivoting your entire business model. It's scary because it's supposed to be, but it's also where magic happens. Let me put it this way. Playing it too safe is often the biggest risk of all. But here is a nuance. Great entrepreneurs know that risk is only worth when it aligns with their core values and long-term vision. If risk-taking is about leaping, then customer service is about catching, which brings us to our fifth trait of the forward-thinking businesses: exceptional customer service. We often talk about customer loyalty as if it was something that our customers owe to us. But the truth is, loyalty is earned. Exceptional customer service does not mean resolving problems when they arise. It's about preventing them in the first place. It's about creating experiences so seamless and delightful that customers not only come back but also bring others with them. We cannot talk about exceptional customer service theoretically because it's something we feel when it happens to us. As Mr. Wolfie shares, they do more than sell bikes. They offer their customers a lifestyle change. He's committed to guiding customers through informed decisions, ensuring they not only meet their current needs, but are prepared for what's ahead. To him, customer service is making sure every client feels confident with their choice. In a world where customers have infinite choices, service becomes your differentiator. It's more than meeting expectations, to be honest. It's exceeding them in ways that feel personal. But delivering exceptional customer service isn't a solo act, to be honest. It requires a team that feels empowered to make decisions, solve problems, and represent your brand authentically. And empowerment stems from one thing, that is trust. This brings us to the sixth trait of the forward-thinking businesses, that is trusting your people. Here's a hard truth. You can't build great business if you don't trust your people, your team. Trust is the glue that holds the teams together. It's what allows people to take initiative, share bold ideas, and admit mistakes without the fear of punishment. Trust isn't something you can demand. It's something you demonstrate. When Nick Glover talked about building trust within teams, he emphasized the importance of clear communication. People need to know what is expected of them, where they have autonomy, and how their work contributes to the bigger picture. And trust, by the way, isn't one-sided. It's supposed to be mutual. Employees need to trust their leaders too. They need to believe that their contributions matter and that their voices are heard. A team that feels trusted does more than follow instructions. They own outcomes. They treat your business like it's their business. But, and this is a big but, trust doesn't mean you abdicate responsibility. It means you empower your people while maintaining accountability. And speaking of accountability, let's talk about the fine art of delegation. The 7th trait of forward-thinking businesses is mastering delegation. Delegation is one of those things every entrepreneur knows they should do, but so many struggle with. You know why? Because it feels like letting go of control. But delegation is about gaining focus. When Dr. Joy hired an assistant to manage his emails and schedule, he wasn't passing off his tasks. He was buying back his time. Time that he could spend on strategy, growth, and innovation. Delegation isn't just about dumping tasks. It's about handing over ownership. It's about saying, I trust you that you will take care of this, and I know you will do it well. Delegation is more than what you gain. It's also about what your team gains. When people are given responsibility, they grow. They develop confidence, skills, and a sense of purpose. Great leaders don't hoard decisions. They share them. They don't micromanage, they mentor. If values are your foundation and trust is your glue, then delegation is your lever. It allows you to amplify your impact far beyond you can achieve alone. And there you have it, the 7 traits of forward-thinking businesses. Values guide you. Learning grows you. Competition sharpens you. Risk challenges you. Customers reward you. Trust empowers you. And delegation frees you. Don't treat these traits as a checklist because they are a cycle. They feed into each other, support each other, and together they create something truly remarkable. But let me share one final insight. These traits aren't static. You don't have to achieve them once and move on. They are habits, practices, and above all, commitments. As we wrap up this season, I'm reminded of something every guest brought to the table: a sense of humility. The most successful entrepreneurs know they don't have all the answers. They're always learning, always growing, and always asking themselves, what's next? Looking ahead to the next season, I'm excited about the stories we'll tell, the lessons we'll share, and the community we continue to build together. Thank you for being part of this season. Whether you listen to one episode or all of them, your time and attention means the world to me. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this season, is this: success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. I'm your host, Namita Ramani, and this is the Forward Thinking People podcast. Here's to staying curious, courageous, and forward thinking. See you in the next season.